Hi guys, welcome to the SM Crash course. Glad that you have chosen this platform. So before we begin, I just want to tell you a couple of things. One, you're seeing an order in the very first page of your material, which is also flashing next to me right now. And I want you to go through these crash courses in the same order. And I've listed down the classes along with their timings. And I suggest that you go with the same order so there is a perfect flow in whatever we do. And suggestion number 2 is that you keep your main module, that is the complete material, whichever material you have been following, whether it be the ICAI module or my own full module, or if any module which we've been using before the crash course with the full content, you can keep that next to you also to review the content that is there in each and every topic. Now crash course material is also available. I hope you've downloaded it, and make sure that that is a very abridged version of the entire syllabus. So make sure that you write the relevant things that I tell in the crash course, and also make sure that you make a proper notes and use this crash course for your revision one day before the exam. So I wish you all the best, and of course I hope all of you will watch all the classes completely and make the most of it. So let's get started with our very first class. I'll see you there. Hi guys, let us begin with our very first chapter. Actually, I don't even have to call this a chapter. It's the introduction to strategic management, but it's been scheduled as chapter 1. We have some very basic things. What constitutes to the word business policy, what constitutes to a strategy management, and then the discussion on strategic management. So it's going to be a very basic chapter which is an explanation of all these terms. So let's start with the first and simplest term, which is called as business policy. Now you know what is business. Business is a state of being busy. Every business will have certain rules to follow, okay, or principles to follow. Every business is a reflection of what people in that business do. So it is something to do with who the owner is and what he actually does. So if it's my business, my ideas reflect as my business. So keeping it very simple, what constitutes to a business policy? It is nothing but a study of business policy is a study of three things. Whoever is taking care of that business, it's a study of functions and responsibilities of the top management. Functions and responsibilities of top management. Because now when I say top management, if it's an individual, he is the one who is responsible for it. If it's a partnership firm, then the partners, or if it's a company, then the top management or board of directors as we call. Their ideas, their thoughts, that will reflect as what the business is. So if the top management of the organization are very humble, polite, or maybe even with a good heart, say probably that will reflect in the organization's behavior. If the top management is corrupt, then that will also reflect in the organization's behavior. So what are your functions and responsibilities of the top management? That is what is the first and foremost point. Then the crucial problems. See, every business will have some problems in terms of allocating resources. Basically, I want you to quickly recollect the definition that you studied in economics about economics itself. One of the definitions of economics given by Lionel Robbins, it says, there is scarcity. Scarcity definition of economics says that the wants are unlimited, but the means to satisfy those wants are limited, wherein we have to choose between which is our most, again in wants also ranking is there, which is our most important want, which is a high prioritized want. So first you satisfy that and then you try satisfying the next. So like that here, the second point, crucial problems that affect the success of the enterprise. Now here again, nobody defined what success is. Success can be in terms of achieving volumes of production. Success can be in terms of achieving a profit. Please do not mistake the fact that profit is the only determinable factor in business. That is wrong. So therefore, crucial problems that affect the success in an enterprise or an organization. And the third point is that the decisions. What are the decisions? The decisions that determine The decisions that determine the organization's future. Because these decisions are kind of very important. Only when these decisions are taken and progress forward, that's when those organization will move forward. So every organization has to study these and make up something which will take their organization forward, and that is only called as a business policy, which is nothing but, once again, study of functions and responsibilities of the senior management, crucial problems that affect the success in an enterprise, and 3, the decisions that determine the direction of the organization, the decision that determines the organization's future, and how is it going to shape the future. So all these are pretty important in shaping up a business for us. The problems in policy, now we said crucial problems, like what are those? The problems of policy in business have to do with choice of purposes, which is the most important one, right? Is this needed is always a constantly endearing question. You should keep asking that. Is this really needed for us? If needed, what is it all about? How is it going to come? So all those are certain important aspects that one should basically ask. The problems of policy in business have to do with 1, choice of purposes, which one to choose, which one not to choose. 2, molding the organizational identity and character. As I just told you, top management's behavior, that will only reflect in molding, and molding means shaping up. How will you shape up an identity? Now if I am running an organization, how will I shape up the identity for my organization? It totally depends on what I do. Now if I am somebody who is corrupt, my organizations also will reflect. So then everybody will be like, hey, this is a corrupt organization, or this is run by people who are corrupt. So then that is not going to suffice the purpose. So when you run something, or when you actually deal with something like this, you need to give a shape, or you need to mold your identity, that organization. Like how the Tatas are branded for their good nature. They give so many donations, they do so much of charitable work, molding an organization's character. Now how Tata as an artificial organization is it doing that, or the ones who are running that are doing it? So that is how you decide in business policy. The problems there: molding the organizational identity and character, continuously defining what needs to be done, because this is not some one-time activity. You need to continuously and constantly redefine, continuously defining what needs to be done, and mobilization of resources. Mobilization of resources for attainment of goals, that too in facing competition and adverse circumstances. No competition, monopoly is not a real life situation. In competition, that too in negative circumstances, how will you survive? So establishing all that, to understand how you have to drive a business, which purpose to choose, what should you do, what character should you give for your organization, or how will you mold it, what identity are you creating, how people will look at your organization, and most importantly, where to put my resources. When I say mobilization of resources, I hope you know what are the resources. Resources are 5 M's, which I keep constantly repeating throughout. So remember, these are men, material, money, machinery. Men, material, money, machinery, and market. So these are the 5 M's which are termed as resources, and these resources are abundantly not available. They are scarce. So since these resources are scarce, we try and put up something whereby using these scarce productive resources, we can create something with which we can actually work. So that's a basic idea about what business is and what every business policy will be, how they will follow something. This is a basic idea. Now let's get to the 2 crucial and very important words. First, let's talk about what constitutes to this word management. Then obviously we will discuss the term strategy, and then we will club those two to discuss what is strategic management. So I hope the fundamental of this subject is clear, because strategic management, when you say, it's not defining about you or me. The context is very specific to business. That is why they told you in this subject we are going to discuss about business, because strategic management can be very much applied in your life, in my life. we can apply the concept of strategic management anywhere. There is no problem about it, because each and every concept you will learn here, without any hesitation, you apply on yourself, like creating a vision for you, creating a mission for you, looking forward, for following this entire process, no harm. Having said that, it's not between you and me here, it's about the discussion on a business. So in a business, how will they use strategic management? That is what our topic is predominantly going to circle around. Now let's discuss about this word management. When you say manage, there is another version of telling it called manage men tactfully. That is what management. I think you know this word tact from audit. It is one of the qualities of an auditor. How to deal different people in different situations. A study of a behavioral science should develop tact. Tact is an art of dealing different people differently. Manager is a person who does this activity called management. If he is able to tackle different people in different ways, that is what is management. That is one definition or one way of expressing management. There is one more way of saying that there are certain functions like planning, organizing, staffing. There are some functions, and when that is all performed in an organized manner, that is also called management. So basically management is expressed in not one but two contexts. Management is expressed in not one but two contexts. Whenever I say sometimes we got to talk to the key management, here I said functions and responsibilities of top management, means we are referring to a few people. Sometimes we are saying we are supposed to manage things properly. That time we are not talking about people, that time we are talking about functions. So management broadly is used in two contexts. One, when it talks about a key group in an organization. Now if I am talking about Mr. Mukesh Ambani and his team of members, they are the key group in Reliance. So they are the management of Reliance. So key group of individuals. Key group of individuals in an organization, they can be termed as management. You can also call management as a set of what? Interrelated functions. Set of interrelated functions. What are those functions? That also we will see now. Okay, so please look at the definition of management. In the words of Peter Drucker, they have defined it very beautifully. 3 words. Management is a function. Management is a function. That means something to be done. Okay. It's a discipline. Management is a function, a discipline, and a task to be done. So these are how management is described. Management is a function. And there is somebody who is called as manager, who is ultimately important. What does he do? Performs the function, practices the discipline, perform the function, practice the discipline, and discharge the task, that is to fulfill and finish the task. Discharge. Management is a function, discipline, or a task to be done. And manager is the person who performs the function, practices the discipline, and discharges the task. That's how Peter Drucker defined it. It is used in 2 major contexts, as I already highlighted. You can please underline. It is used to refer a key group in an organization, a bunch of people. You can call them as management, who are in charge of its affairs. And 2, the term is also used to define a set of interrelated functions and processes to the field, underline set of interrelated functions, to a field of study or discipline in social sciences, and to either a vocation or profession. Basically, I want you to also write down there what are the set of interrelated functions. It is about planning, organizing, staffing, leading or directing. You can call it anything, leading or directing, and then controlling. When things go wrong, that's when we apply control. Okay, control is about taking corrective actions. So planning, organizing, staffing, leading or directing, and controlling. Please make a note of all these 5 words. Exactly. Pull an arrow mark from the word set of interrelated functions. I hope you can see that relevant place there. So you can just make a note there very clearly as to what constitutes the word management. So this is a definition given by Peter Drucker and the 2 contexts in which we are generally using the word management. Then let's move on to the next word, which is strategy. Before discussing what constitutes strategic management, we also have to separately analyze this word called as strategy. We will first see what strategy is all about, and then we will discuss those 2 words together. That is what constitutes to strategic management. Before we go there, I want you to understand it's a very simple definition of the word strategy. What is strategy? A long range blueprint. So you're not talking about today, tomorrow and all. What is a strategy? A long range blueprint. A long range blueprint. Now you know this word blueprint is generally used for representing designs. Generally when you go for constructing a particular house or something like that, they say, you got to see the blueprint of that house. That is, blueprint is nothing but a design which you can see and then do that particular construction. So blueprint is nothing but a framework. The strategy also is like that. It's a long range blueprint, not talking about today or tomorrow. It's about a very much in the future. A long range blueprint of the organizations. What are you drawing this blueprint for? A long range blueprint of the organization's desired image, direction and destination. Okay, please underline the 3 words: image, direction and destination. Long range blueprint of an organization's desired image, direction and destination. That is what it wants to be. What is your image? After 5 years, what do you want to be? After 10 years, what do you want to be? But basically, what do you want to be? What it wants to be, what it wants to do, and ultimately where it wants to go. What it wants to do and ultimately where it wants to go. That is the destination. Okay, where are we now? That is our present situation. But what is our image? Desired image. What it wants to be. What it wants to be ultimately. The kind of company that you're trying to actually create. What it wants to be. Then direction. That is, how do you go there? Right? What it wants to do. The direction in which we want to go. And destination. Where ultimately is what you want to reach. That is what strategy is all about. Strategy is a long range blueprint. Okay, but there is one more definition for strategy. This is a very common definition for strategy. You can obviously remember this. If you at a point in time don't remember definition number 1, you always have definition number 2. In definition number 2, we have 3 key words. What is strategy? Strategy is a unified. Uni means 1. So there are no 10, only 1. Strategy unified, comprehensive, which means covering everything. Strategy is unified, comprehensive and an integrated what? Strategy is a unified, comprehensive, integrated plan. Okay, why have you designed this plan? Plan designed to achieve the basic objectives of business. Designed to achieve the basic objectives of business. That's all. All we want you to do is design a plan so that you can achieve the basic objectives of a business. Job done. Smooth and clear. Please read. Unified means 1. Comprehensive means covering all. And integrated means something that's brought together. Strategy is a unified, comprehensive and integrated plan designed to assure that the basic objectives of the enterprise will be achieved. What are the basic objectives? I hope you know what are the basic objectives of every organization. I'm writing them here. You want, you can also note down. But I believe you already should have got to know this. Basic objectives are survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and profitability. See, profitability is the last one there. Okay. Survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and profitability. All these 5 are called the basic objectives of every business. Anything and everything you do to achieve these basic objectives, they are only termed as a strategy. It's a plan of action. You design it, one plan covering everything, integrated, it is linked. Okay. Now, I also want to tell you one more very important thing about strategy. So, should we make strategy first and then do things? Because if things go wrong, then what should I do? Then do it again. So, strategy is partly proactive, that is, you can draw a strategy first and then apply that and see whether it works. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, which is very likely possible, if it doesn't work, don't get disheartened. Learn what went wrong. And from those learnings, create another strategy which will overrule all those and maybe help you achieve your goal. This may not happen in your first go. There can be several rounds of this happen. So that part of strategy is called reactive. Now please don't make the mistake of writing strategy is both proactive and reactive. It's not both at the same time. It's partly proactive and partly reactive. Please underline that line. Strategy is partly proactive and partly reactive. A strategy is nothing but a blend of, that is nothing but a mix of proactive actions on part of managers. Proactive actions on part of managers to improve the company's market position and financial performance. Reactions to unanticipated developments and fresh market conditions. Environment is absolutely dynamic. Business environment is absolutely dynamic. Means always changing and ever changing. And when some things are changing like that, you might want to make certain adjustments to your strategy. That part of the strategy is called reactive strategy. Partly proactive, partly reactive. But let me tell you, just because you have a fantastic strategy on hand, just because you have a super fantastic strategy on hand, you can't say, I won't need any management, I don't need anybody. No. Strategy is on paper. To get that strategy executed, you need people. So, yes, you need management who are nothing but the key group of individuals. So, when I have strategy, do I still have to have management? Absolutely, yes. Put a star to that point. It's a true or false question. It can be a multiple choice, anything. Strategy is no substitute. Strategy is no substitute for a sound, alert and responsible management. If you need to have a sound, alert and responsible management, you definitely have to have it. There are no excuses for that. No sir, we have that. No, we did not have this. Nothing like that. We have a fantastic strategy. But to get that strategy executed, you need good management also. Put a star. Very important point. Strategy is not a substitute for sound, alert and responsible management. Strategies are formulated. Strategies are formulated where? Strategies are formulated at corporate, divisional and functional levels. Corporate, divisional and functional levels. That is all 3 levels in the organization. Don't worry, after discussing strategic management, I will definitely explain you what are the 3 levels in the organization also. So, you know that strategy is required in all levels of the organization and strategy is partly proactive and partly reactive. A company's strategy is a blend of proactive actions. That paragraph is given there again. So, you can please underline that. It's a proactive action on part of the managers to improve company's market position and reactions to unanticipated developments in fresh market conditions. It's very, very important for you to know the definitions of strategy, the fact that strategy will help you achieve the basic objectives of a business, and then strategy is both partly proactive and partly reactive. Don't say both at the same time, it can't be. Okay, so now that we have an understanding of both strategy and management, as you see, okay, what constitutes to strategy is there, what constitutes to management is there. So right now all that we need to do is to define what is called as strategic management. So please get on to the next part where we are going to discuss the word strategic management. Our entire syllabus is going to be based on this only. So I want everybody to listen this with constant care and attention to this definition. The term strategic management refers to, you can see that clearly given. I want you to be very alert on this definition and figure out what exactly it is. Term strategic management refers to, what is it? A managerial process. In the first place, it is a managerial process of what? Strategic management is a managerial process of, I want you to underline and mark 5 numbers, because these 5 numbers become the 5 phases of strategic management as we go further. In our next chapter, we will again discuss as to what they are in detail, but for now, I am just going to give you the 5 headings. Strategic management is a managerial process of 1, underline, developing a vision. 2, setting up of objectives. Developing vision, setting up objectives. 3, crafting a strategy. Okay, so first is about, these 2 steps are very much in your mind, vision and objectives. You develop a vision for what you want to actually do in your mind. Develop a vision. Then set up some objectives as to what you want to achieve. How would you want to achieve? And when, timeline, all that. So we will discuss these 2 words also in our next segment detail. But for now, developing a vision, setting objectives, crafting a strategy. They're using a word craft, like an art. Okay. Crafting a strategy. How to do that is also something we need to see. And then step number 4, put up there to implementation. Implementing and executing that strategy. Implementing and executing that strategy. And 5, taking corrective actions. That is called control. Taking corrective actions if required. So if required and you want to make any corrective actions, should always take up that. What is strategic management? Strategic management is a managerial process. That means managers perform this. It is a managerial process of developing a vision, setting up of objectives, crafting a strategy, then implementing and executing that strategy, and taking corrective actions as and when required. As and when required, you have to take corrective actions. So please underline and mark 1 to 5. And taking corrective adjustments in vision, objectives and strategy and execution as deemed appropriate. So sometimes your vision and objectives may not be in line. Sometimes the way you crafted a strategy may not be in line. Sometimes the way strategy is fine, but the way you are implementing is may not be fine. And that is exactly how we need to deal with this. But before crafting a strategy, obviously I'm going to deal that in detail in the next class. But here we will also do something called as strategic analysis. Okay, that is, let us not bring that here into the situation. But as per this definition, these 5 points. But when we discuss the 5 phases of strategic management, these 2 put together will be phase 1. And new phase 2 comes in. That is called as strategic analysis. Okay. And then phase 3 continues to be this. This is phase 4 and this is phase 5. That is fine. But this aspect will newly come in here, and we need to understand what are we going to do with that. Don't worry, in the next segment. So this is how the syllabus is also broken down. This first chapter I told you is very much the introduction. Then the story begins from the next chapter. in the next segment, I'm not going to start the second chapter of your syllabus. We are going to do the third chapter, because there only vision, mission, objectives, all those definitions are there. So we will do the third chapter. Then we will get back to the second chapter where strategic analysis is there, wherein we need to understand competitors analysis, okay, and then our own strength and weaknesses, SWOT and TOS analysis, and then a very important analysis called portfolio analysis. So after understanding all the terminology in today's class, strategy, management, strategic management, the levels in the organization, who will use this concept, this is a very first and basic thing that you need to know. Then in the order of preference, if you go by the institute's module, the second chapter is dynamics of competitive strategy, but we are not doing that. We'll do the third chapter first, because that's what defines vision, mission, objectives. Then we'll do analysis. So slight rearrangement, that's all. 1, 3, 2, then rest of the story continues. Crafting strategy, again strategies are also crafted at all 3 levels. Now only they told you. So chapter 4, 5 and 6, that is corporate level, business level and functional level, at all 3 levels how to craft strategy. Implementing and executing, chapter 7, even bit of chapter 8 discusses that, and last part of strategic control also is discussed in chapter 8. This is how your entire syllabus is phased. Okay, so after today's session, whatever we discuss in the next session, that will be this, then followed by analysis, then followed by these 3 levels of crafting the strategy, then implementing and executing and taking corrective actions. I have also designed the module that you have now in the same order. Okay, so next chapter will be vision, mission, objectives and all that, and then analysis will come. So follow the flow that we are discussing in this course. It will be way more easier for you to crack the entire set of 8 chapters, and you'll be very strong by the end of this course. All that I want is that only. The idea of doing a crash course is not that you don't know the syllabus, but you got to be stronger, and there is a potential to score 45 marks very confidently. I have had students who scored 80 marks in the EASSM paper. So don't set small targets. Don't worry about it. Now that you've chosen it, make sure that you count on it. It's again, don't make strategies like I'll get 40 here, even if I get 10 or 15 in EAS, that's enough. No, try to balance both. This one's a very limited syllabus, and very confidently you can do this. And once you are able to finish, because the duration of this also is not going to be very long. So if you are able to finish doing this very strongly and then revise with purpose, I'm pretty sure 35 to 45 being the range is expected for everybody very easily. Okay, so I'm not really giving any false hopes here. Very much possible. People have done it in the past. That's why I'm telling. Okay, chalo, that is the definition. Let's now proceed with a couple of concepts about strategic management. What are the importance of this concept like strategic management, or what is the importance in business? And of course, when every good concept comes with importance, some limitations will also be pronounced. You can't stop that, okay, because limitations will be there. These are not disadvantages, the limitations, they stop you, that's all. Like they don't kill the process, okay. So because at the end of the day, everybody who follows strategic management, will they be successful? Can't give you an answer, because if you go wrong anywhere here, it's not going to help. So therefore, where is this process used, or strategic management, what does it help you get? As I said, there are 2 points. Once we discuss these 2 points, then we will go to those 2 concepts. Read the last line. The overall objective of strategic management is twofold. So how many objectives does strategic management have? 2 objectives. 1, to create competitive advantage. To create a competitive advantage, that is, you have to be somewhat better than your competitors. To create a competitive advantage so that the company can outperform the competitors in order to have dominance in the market. And not only that, I just told you, environment is not stable, it's infinitely dynamic. It's always and ever changing, the environment. So you have to make a strategy that will help you pass through all those changes, to guide the company successfully, through all the changes that take place in the environment. That is what strategic management is meant for. So two objectives that to create, it's only an objective. Sir, every time will strategic management create a competitive advantage? No, I don't know. It totally depends on how you apply this process. Okay. So yes, to create a competitive advantage and to guide the company successfully, through all changes. That's what strategic management is all about. Let's move on, guys, to two small topics. One is on the importance, the other one is on the limitations. Let's talk about them. One, it helps organizations to be proactive. Don't wait for situations to dictate terms on you. Okay? Don't wait for situations to dictate terms on you. You be proactive. Strategic management helps the organization to be proactive instead of being reactive. Organizations are able to analyze and take actions instead of being mere spectators. So just don't be a mere spectator, or just don't wait for things to happen. Get things done in a great manner. Helps organizations to be proactive instead of being reactive. Organizations are able to analyze and take actions instead of being mere spectators. It helps to work with unexpected changes. Obviously, changes will not call you 2 days before and tell, I'm going to come. They can occur at any moment suddenly. So therefore, organizations are able to analyze the changes and then take actions. It helps the organization to deal with unexpected change in the environment and also shaping it instead of getting carried away by its turbulence. Environment is turbulent. Like when you go in the flight, you experience turbulence, right? Unstable. So environment is like that, and you have to be more proactive to deal with that. Number two, what is importance? It enhances longevity, the length of your survival. Enhance longevity. 3, serves as a corporate defense mechanism. Corporate defense mechanism. Tomorrow, if anything goes wrong, like in a war, how will you take a shield and go? Not that you don't know to fight, but if something comes, you got to protect yourself. No. You being aggressive and attacking is one part of it, but you being protective is also equally important. So it should turn out to be a corporate defense mechanism, something that can protect you from your enemies. So if you are following the strategic management process, it gives you a pathway. Again, I am not saying it is compulsory that you will achieve success. No, I am not somebody who is guaranteeing that. Having said that, you can think of how you can move it along. So proactive, enhanced longevity, corporate defense mechanism. Strategic management provides framework. It provides framework for major decisions. Provides framework for what? All major business decisions. Strategic management provides framework for all major decisions of an enterprise, like which products you got to deal with, which markets, manufacturing facilities, investments, and organizational structure. Then, if you are following this process and it really works for you, this concept will help you develop, which is called as core competencies. For now, just I hope you know already, but core competencies are unique strengths. If you want, write down there in bracket the word unique, which only we have and others in the market don't have. So it helps you develop core competencies and competitive advantages. Strategic management helps you develop core competencies and competitive advantage. Then it helps define realistic objectives and goals. Helps you define what? Helps you define realistic objectives and goals so that you can actually achieve what you want. Point number 6, gives a direction to the company to move ahead and helps in defining realistic objectives and goals which are in line with the vision of the company. So vision being the primary aspect, the objectives that you develop should be in line. I will explain how they all three are interrelated in our next chapter. Vision followed by a mission followed by objectives and goals. We have a separate discussion on that, nothing to worry. And finally, point number 7, it prepares the organization to face future. You all know future is uncertain. So this makes it ready for them to prepare or face future and act as a pathfinder. Act as a pathfinder. That means where am I going, and act as a pathfinder to various business opportunities. Please underline all those words which are given in bold, and I can give you a simple technique. First one word, second one 2 words, up till 7th one will have 7 words, though I didn't write all those. Okay, face future, act as a pathfinder, and then here 3 words, 4 words, 5 words, 6 and 7. I have highlighted those many number of words which you need to remember so that you can build a sentence completely. This could possibly be a question in the exam. So just get ready with that as to what is the importance of strategic management. Sir, if I just adopt strategic management blindly and follow this 5-step process, is success guaranteed? No, because this is a bookish process available to the whole world. Anybody and everybody can follow this. But will they achieve success? That will totally depend on how these are implemented. Because it's a costly process, and not that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be time taking. So we do have some limitations out there. Check limitation number 1. The environment, whatever we are talking about, is complex. Environment is complex and turbulent. You know what is turbulent, right? Turbulence means there is instability. So nobody can tell you what exactly the environment is, and you don't know whether all the time this will work or not. It is difficult to understand the complex environment and exactly pinpoint how it will shape up in future. Then 2, it's a time consuming process. All this is not going to happen overnight. It's a time consuming process. And then 3, it's a costly process. Why is it a costly process? Because you got to appoint so many people, you have to do everything in a very systematic manner. Let's read point 2 and 3. Point number 2, time consuming. Organizations spend a lot of time preparing, communicating strategies that may impede means stop, impede daily operations and negatively impact the routine business. Then it could turn out to be a costly process. Expert strategic planners are needed to be engaged. External internal environments need to be analyzed. Strategies need to be devised, implemented, and all this with limited resources. What if you don't have the money? So therefore, you need to see whether it is feasible for you to do the strategic management process. And lastly, it's difficult to clearly estimate the competitive responses. Means if we are doing something like this, what are our competitors going to do? Okay, that is also important. No, so difficult to clearly estimate the competitive responses to any firm's strategies in a competitive scenario where all organizations are trying to move strategically. As I just told you, this is not a process available to you alone. Anybody in the world can follow this process, and where anybody in the world can follow, how is it unique to only you? So you can also achieve success, you can also fail pretty much. So we need to just stay corrected about those facts. Otherwise things are pretty much okay with the process of strategic management. So I want everybody to take a clear look at what exactly the concept of strategic management is, what is its objective that is being discussed, what is the importance of this concept called strategic management, and how it has 4 limitations. Simple topic. So what is business policy? What is management? What is strategy? What is strategic management? And I don't think I have to emphasize on the 3 levels that are there. It's a very basic topic. Please check in the same page. The topmost level in the organization. Please don't use the words top, middle and bottom levels. They are not professional. So let's talk about using some professional words which are used in management terminology. Top level, is called as the corporate level. You can also write it as a strategic level. Okay. So, levels, when we say the first level is called as corporate level, or you can also call it as strategic level, corporate level or strategic level. The next level is called as business level, which is also called as managerial level. You can write the additional names that I am telling you now, or it's also called as a tactical level. The third level is called as a functional level, or you can also term it as operational level, functional or operational level. Okay, those are the three levels in the organization. Who are there also have been given. CEO, CFOs, board of directors, senior executives are all there in the corporate level. Divisional managers and all the staff are there in the business level, and all the functional managers. You know what are business functions, right? 5 functions are there in business. When you say or use the word functions, what are those 5 functions? I'm just guessing that you know what those 5 are. Finance, marketing, HR, production and inventory management. Now R&D is also there, that is exclusive. Finance, marketing, guys, I hope you know this. Finance, marketing, HR, production, inventory management, these are all called as the functions that are there in business. So these functions, the ones who are managing these functions at the bottom of the organization, they are only called as the functional level managers. Okay. So at all 3 levels, what 3 strategies are required are all discussed in chapters 4, 5, 6. So we talk about it. Now the last part of this first session is strategic management is used in organizations which are not just profit oriented. Okay, strategic management is used in many other organizations. Sir, like what? See, where did you see in this entire definition of strategic management profit being a criteria? Profit is not a criteria. So strategic management can be applied in any organization, whether it is profit oriented or not. So I want you to see about strategic management being used in organizations. First up, strategic management in non-profit organizations. Business organizations can be classified as commercial or non-commercial on the basis of the interest they have. A commercial organization has profit as its main interest. We can find many organizations around us which are charitable in nature. They also have goals, they also have objectives. This year we have to serve so many people. This year we have to provide education to so many people. Okay, so we can find many organizations around us which do not have any commercial objective of making profits. Their idea is of underlying social, charitable or even maybe educational purposes. Their main aim is to provide services to members, beneficiaries or even the public at large. A non-commercial organization comes to existence to meet the needs not met by business enterprises. Non-commercial organization, absolutely charitable in nature or social in nature. They can also have vision, they also have objectives to achieve, they can make strategies and implement them and take corrective actions. So if we offer steps, are they possible? Very much. So as long as these 5 steps, you will tell that is possible even in non-profit organizations. Now I want you to read here to there. Obviously, can strategic management be adopted in educational institutions? Of course. See, today educational institutions are the most commercial thing, even medical. Earlier education, these are all basic necessities, right? Education, medicine. But now hospitals, what kind of strategies different hospitals are making to attract patients? So yes, everywhere strategic management is used. Educational institutions are also using strategic management techniques and concepts more frequently. The significant change in the competitive climate has taken place in educational environment, and hence they are adopting different strategies to attract the best students. The academic institutions have also joined hands with industry So that they'll call and tell, we have 100% placement. Everybody who studied in our educational institution will definitely get a job. You see the marketing, right? You guys are seeing it, so I don't have to tell you. And make graduates more employable. The educational delivery system has also undergone a considerable change. Anyway, bottom line, even educational institutions are using this. Hospitals are creating and using new strategies, as there are many advances in the medical diagnosis and very much treating the chronic diseases. So therefore, hospitals are bringing so many services to the patient as much as bringing patient to the hospital, which means you have options like dial an ambulance, dial a doctor, call for a home service. Actually, if you're well off, you can even let that entire ICU setup be done in your house, and they will appoint a nurse to take care of the aged person who can't be kept in hospital for so many days. So if you're asking me, can we convert one of our rooms in the house as a hospital? Yeah, very much possible. They are making it. Hospitals are beginning to bring services to the patient as much as bringing patient to the hospital. Pathological laboratories have started collecting door-to-door samples. I hope you know what they are meaning. Now you don't have to go to the diagnostic center. You call, the guy comes and takes blood samples and go. A successful hospital strategy for the future will require renewed and deepened collaboration with physicians who are central to the hospital success. So nowadays you have so many apps also where you can dial a doctor or book an appointment with the doctor, and those doctors are there in multiple places. So you can go onto the app and say find the nearest doctor, and doctors are registering with these apps. So the kind of connect that is being developed, that's kind of very amazing. Last set of organizations who are also using strategic management concepts are the governmental organizations. Yes, governmental organizations don't enjoy that much freedom and autonomy, but they are also obviously motivated enough to do that. Central, state, municipal agencies, public sector departments are responsible for formulating, implementing and evaluating strategies, underline, that use the taxpayers' money in the most effective manner. Don't ask me if that's happening. But then yeah, there's a great change from how it was years back to now. Because earlier, if somebody was to get a work or job done from a government organization, they used to be really scared. They'd be like, no, not required. But today it's not like that. It's all digital. You don't have to bribe so many people. That list of that bureaucracy, red tapeism is avoided. Quickly things can be done. You want to incorporate a company? Go online. You can fill the documents. So you can deal with all that. But strategies in governmental organizations operate, underline, with less strategic autonomy than their counterparts in private firms. Public firms not diversify. Generally government firms, no, they don't diversify like Reliance. You name it, it's there everywhere. But government can't diversify like that into every area. Governmental strategists usually enjoy less freedom when compared to their counterparts. In private company, if something has to be done, people behave like go-getters. That means they decide something, then they want it executed. That much freedom is not there in a public enterprise where 100 people will be there, hierarchy. Now I'll give you one small example. Like say for example, there's a small pothole on the road that has to be filled. First one authority will come take a picture and go. Then one more authority will come and see whether the hole is really there. Then he will book an order, then he will go, then he will take the permission of a counselor, and then from there it will go on to somebody has to approve, then funds will be released, then tenders be called for. So much drama. Then whoever quotes low will be given that opportunity, then he will come and fill this road. He won't work properly, again 3 months later you see that hole continuing to be there. You see that? Why is this happening? Because nobody is there who can take, acha, this is there, okay, by evening I'll get this done. That kind of freedom is not enjoyed in governmental organizations. But private organizations, you can take decisions like in a very quick manner. But in government agencies, departments are finding it difficult, or department are finding their employees get excited about the opportunity to participate in the strategic management process and thereby have an effect on the organization's mission, objectives and strategies. I think I missed a line in the second paragraph, just go back there. that legislators, the last but one line, legislators and politicians often have direct or indirect control, which is what I was telling. For everything it has to go till there. Like you see, no, one issue will happen. See there they gave. It will come to the media. It will get discussed, debated, and then 2 days later everybody forgets that. So that's not the style of operation that we require. So yes, business in government, but in government or agencies, department, they're finding it difficult to get this done. But their employees are excited about the opportunity to participate in the strategic management process and thereby have an effect on the organization's mission, objectives, strategies and policies. In addition, government is also using strategic management approach. So all I am saying is, non-profit organizations, medical organizations, educational institutions, even government, irrespective of any profit motive, everybody can follow the concept of strategic management. So that's the very first chapter as it is called, but then it's a very basic topic, the introduction. What is business policy, strategy management, strategic management, its objectives, importance and limitations, along with all the 3 levels that are there in the organization, plus the last topic. One of those questions have always been there in the exam, true or false, maybe short question maybe. Strategic management is used in non-profit organizations, explain. Or they say strategic management is not used in non-profit organizations, true or false statement. So yeah, one of them could be a question in the exam. So please go through, though these are basics, will definitely turn out to be a question in your exam paper. Okay, I'll see you in the next session where we will come back and start discussing about the strategic elements, what constitutes to a business definition, what is a vision, mission, objective, and what qualities should they have, and how should we progress from there on, and how should we take up these 5 steps. Okay, so we'll catch up with phase 1 on developing vision, mission, objectives in our next session.